to computer. All right, we're recording. You can hear me okay?
Yep.
All righty. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of HitaTalk Season 4, which if you watch the last 2 episodes, you already know this, but Season 4 is a continuation of Season 3, which is talking about all sorts of Wonder Women in the Twin Cities. And we're talking about the cool Wonder Women mom bosses. So we're bringing in the mom squad of the Twin Cities because they're Wonder Women in and of itself. And with me today is another amazing mom boss, Wonder Woman, and so many more things she's going to tell you about. So welcome to HitaTalk, Whitney Emanuel. Hi, girl.
Thank you.
I feel like, the audience would be applauding if we had a live audience. But
in my mind, the audience in my mind.
Yeah, that's all that matters. We can toot our own horns and, cheer ourselves on. I'm so excited that you are here to chat with me. I mean, I know a little bit about you, of course, because we're girlfriends and we've had like play dates with the kiddos, but I want to talk more about you and your little lady. I want to talk about your empire you're building. So before we dive in, I kind of want to go back several years, not too many years, a few years, talk about little Whitney, where did you grow up, born and raised, childhood stuff. I just want to do that.
Okay. So I was not born in Minnesota. I was born in Massachusetts because that's where my parents met. My mom grew up in Massachusetts. So my first 4 years of my life were in Massachusetts. And then both my mom and dad have roots in the East Coast, so I always say I'm East Coast at heart. But so then they moved here though, because my dad's side is in Minnesota when I was 4. So I grew up in South Side, Minneapolis, and I went to school in South Minneapolis. So that's why I know a lot of people in Minneapolis, because I grew up here literally in Minneapolis. And I love it, and I'm still in South Minneapolis today. But yeah, I grew up in South Minneapolis. I actually did public school, private school, and homeschooling all as a child as well. So that was a cool experience to have all of those. Yeah. So and then I have a younger sister.
You have a younger? How much younger?
She is 3 years younger. Her name is Liz.
Liz, is she close by?
She is, actually. She's right on the border of downtown in South Minneapolis with her husband.
All right. Well, I love it. Hi, Liz. Hi, sister. Let's talk about your household. That's your upbringing. You guys are in South Minneapolis, and you don't live alone. Who's in that household of yours?
Little Miss Zuzu, or Zuri. Her full name is Zuri Sadai. She's actually learning about Hebrew and Jewish. They're learning about world religions. So, and her name is Hebrew. So she's really excited about that because, it's like a part of the Jewish unit. But so she's 7. She's in 1st grade doing online school. It's all online this year because we're in Minneapolis. And so they have not gone back to anything in person. It's kind of nice, honestly. I love having her, even though being a teacher part-time can be a lot. It's been truly a gift in a lot of ways. So me and her, she's with her dad. Her dad and I were married. We're divorced now. And she's with him Thursdays through Sundays. And then I have her Sundays through Thursday.
All right. Oh my gosh. And she's a doll. Roya loves playing with her. She's talked about her many times since our last date. So outside of pandemic life, we'll get that together again. You also have some furry 4-legged friends in your house. Who's that?
Yes, a cat and a dog. We have had Anaba, our dog. She's a Great Dane Mastiff, and she thinks she's a lap dog. But yeah, she's Zuri's age. She's 6, almost 7. We got them both, so we had Zuri first, and then we got Anaba as a puppy, so puppy and baby. And then we got the cat. I actually got the cat earlier for Zuri this year earlier as a surprise. So.
Oh my God.
And that's little Miss Nicolette, off of Nicolette Ave.
Get out. See, I like that play on of South Minneapolis. I love it. Okay, so you're doing the teacher at home thing, you're doing the mom life thing, you're doing the boss life thing. Talk about post high school education, your background, whether you self-educated or you went to university or any of that jazz? Like, what's your background in?
So I went to college. I actually, following the pattern of all different types of schools, I went away my freshman year to a place in Hillsdale, which is a small school in Michigan. It's a private. That was way too small for me. And so I was there for just a year. It was a big culture shock. I grew up in Minneapolis and just being more conservative amongst a bunch of liberal people. But then I went to Hillsdale and I was like, why do I feel liberal here? It's so weird. So it was very strange. So I only went there for a year. Then I went to MCTC just to get some credits, which I highly recommend all kids do. It's way cheaper to do it that way. And then I graduated from the University of Minnesota. I majored in linguistics, and then Spanish and econ were my minors. So econ is the closest thing to what I'm doing right now. But yeah, so that was my college degree, my college experience and degree. But yeah, not really closely related to financial planning.
Which ironically, I just think that people look for paper credit, even though most people's degrees is far from what they're like actually pursuing or doing.
Yeah,
so it's
true.
kind of a goofy little system we have here in the society. But you know what? I think college is cool because you just learn a lot of things, whether if it's in the particular major you love or responsibility or networking or stressing out and figuring out everything's going to be okay, how to pull an all-nighter.
Yeah. It's like your first taste of independence, right?
Yeah.
But it's controlled independence. So it could be improved upon significantly, the college expectations and experiences. But it was good for me. It was a good experience, and I got to experience a lot of different types of college life, which I am glad that I did.
Good. Well, I'm a fellow gopher. So what year did you graduate?
Oh gosh. So I graduated high school in 2006. So then it was 2011.
Okay. Let's see. I graduated there in 2008. So we probably had a little overlap.
Potentially, yes, maybe.
Then I went back for my master's in 2013. So who knows? Anyways, we're connected now. Your background is currently your focus for quite some time actually has been taking that minor in econ you studied back at the U and moving forward to what you're doing. What is that you're focusing on with your biz, Strategic Visionaries?
Yep, so Strategic Visionaries financial planning. I got into it by accident. I didn't even know what a financial advisor did. I just checked the box on Monster. And but I love it. I mean, I got recruited into doing it by Ameriprise, and then I started my own a few years into it. But the reason I love it is because it's about people, and it's about transforming people's lives and how they view money, and taking away shame, taking away fear, and really educating people and empowering them to take action on things that they don't normally take action on because they're paralyzed for so many different reasons. So that's my work. So really is meeting with people from start to finish, identifying goals, identifying concerns, identifying gaps in their plan. I mean, unless you are presenting what you want to do in your life to someone and then they tell you what you're missing, you wouldn't really know. We have a lot of blind spots, I think, financially. So helping people through those, but in a loving way, so that people don't have to feel ashamed or bad about things that they maybe did that they shouldn't have done. Or so just helping people and coaching people into taking action.
I love that so much, especially the part about taking away shame, because everybody at some point will feel like they're not saving enough, not making enough,
Totally.
not allocating enough, or I don't know anything about stocks, but maybe I should. I didn't budget correctly. I didn't know how to budget until I was 33. And then I was like, well, that's embarrassing. But some people go through their whole life not really understanding what that means. And that could mean something different to everybody too. Who is it that you typically kind of work with? Do you have a specific audience that you focus on?
Well, I'd say that people need to either have extra money or they have to have money saved, extra money in their budget, or they have to have money saved in order to work with me because they're going to need to pay me somehow. So that's just like a basic, right? But once they hit those, I do work with a lot of executives. So people who are maybe in a larger company and they're like mid-level management, or I work with a lot of business owners because they need to provide their own benefits to themselves. They need because they don't have someone else providing their benefits. So that includes retirement, it includes life insurance, it includes disability insurance, it includes cash flow and how do you save when you don't have a consistent paycheck, or if you do, you know, how you pay for your employees. These types of questions that I answer for business owners. If you're an employee somewhere and you're just for a larger company, then there are ways to strategize with your benefits there too. But yeah, it can get complicated pretty quick. So that's why people work with me.
So that you make it uncomplicated and you're like, look, this is an equation. This is how it works.
I like solving people's problems.
Well, isn't it fun, especially when not everybody likes to deal with money, even though they like money is fun, but only if you have some. And I bet you tell me this. How often do you and your clients come out of their situation like with a more positive, optimistic outlook than maybe they thought they had? They're like, I had like $5.
No, I mean, saving people, like I just met with some clients for our year review after working with them for a year and a half. And they were like, we didn't even really need to work on our budget. What we needed to do was save money in these huge areas. And if we hadn't met you, we wouldn't have known. And you've literally saved us thousands of dollars and we're going to pay off our debt in a year and a half. Like, but we didn't know that we could because there were things that we just didn't know. Like, we didn't know we should have canceled this policy. We didn't know that we should have, you know, there's so many things that people just don't know. And it has nothing to do with how much money you make. Yeah. It's just a matter of what you know with what you have. Yeah. So,
Yes. And so this is a good time to say that because you're a part of the Twin Cities MomSquad. You have generously offered anyone that comes to my website can learn about your work and directly go from there. And you have offered to do a free consultation call with them, answer some basic questions, and then mock up a one-page financial plan. Like, what? That is so insanely generous. So people watching, at least give her a call because any question you have, she can like make you not so freaked out. Because my own hubby, we did that too. I wasn't available for the call, but he walked away with so much just like refreshed mentality. I'm like, this is why we work with Whitney. And like, now we know how to save to work with her, right? So
Yes, exactly. It's so I always tell people, I'm like, there's literally no obligation. You're going to walk away with something to do. You're going to walk away with some action steps that are very realistic. So why not? Yeah. And I generally tell people, hey, this is a good time to hire me, or this is not a good time to hire me. So I think a lot of times people feel pressure. Maybe they've held pressure in the past with other experiences that they've had and they have a bad taste in their mouth. But if it's not a good fit for somebody to work with me at that time, I will let them know, hey, wait to do this and then hire me.
Which I think is so amazing for both people, right? Because you want to dedicate your time and your skills to people that could truly benefit from it in this moment. And if they're not ready to make that move, it's a waste of time and money for them. And then of course you're a busy gal, you got, you know, a daughter to raise, a business to run. So it works out better for everybody. Okay. So Strategic Visionaries is the name of the game. Learn more about Whitney there. What can you tell us before we move on from that note, actually?
Yes.
Like, what's the most common, like, state of overwhelm for people? Or what's the most common thing that you see come up when it comes to, I want to work with you, but I don't know what to focus on?
Yeah, I would say probably it kind of depends on the type of client, right? So there could be someone who has retirement accounts, or maybe they inherited money and they're like, I don't know any of this. Like, I have 401ks from this employer and that employer, and I have no idea what to do or what that means. Should I just cash them out and pay the taxes, or should I? And then I inherited this money from my grandma. So there's that person, and they don't know anything about investments. So they're very overwhelmed. So there's that person. Or there's the person who's saying, I have debt. I don't know how to get out of debt. I don't know how to budget. I don't know how to do these basic things. And I really need help. So that is the other type of person. And sometimes that person is one and the same. And so we'll do both in their plan. So, but yeah, I think no matter if I always make sure that somebody has a budget. If they already have it, I don't really spend too much time on it. But if they don't have a budget, that's something that I make sure that everybody creates, because it's the foundation of every plan, because then it determines how much you can save.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. Oh my gosh. See, this is why you work with people who know what they're talking about, because we don't always know everything. And even if we do know a lot of the things, we don't have to do it on our own. There's why there's a part. Okay. So moving past strategic visionaries, people know how to get a hold of you. We'll add all the handles to all the good stuff on this interview. Outside of work, what do you and Zuri love to do?
We love to adventure. We like to go camping. We went camping, was it this summer? Yes, it was this summer. And we encountered a raccoon that kept coming back. And my brother-in-law had to create a whip to like get rid of it. It was, so like, we love nature. Because then we have good stories, and like that story with the raccoon, like that never would have happened if we hadn't gone on an adventure together. So just funny things. Yeah. I like to cook. She's a very big compliment of my cook. She thinks I should start a restaurant. It's very cute. I know, it's very sweet. What else? We love to, we can't really go shopping much these days, but we like to go to thrift stores and explore. I love fashion. She loves fashion naturally.
Yes.
So those are a few things that we like to do. I've been forcing her to go on walks with me, but she's been bringing her scooter. So that makes it a little bit more fun. I'm thankful that the snow hasn't fallen yet. So those are a few things that we like, but we like to be active. We love nature. We love exploring. We like shopping.
I love that. And it's such a different range of activities. And you guys love to dance. I mean, that's one thing I know about you.
Oh, yes.
A good old dance party, you know? Because
we love to dance. Any way that I can get activity in with her, absolutely.
I know. Okay, so I love having conversations with fellow moms of biracial daughters. So I would love to kind of hear from you. What has been like some of the most like eye-opening experiences you have had as a mom, whether if it was like positive or like, oh, SHIT, like a mom raising a biracial daughter. I could go on for days with my experiences, but I kind of want to hear what it's like from you.
Yeah, well, I think I have a unique advantage because my cousins are biracial, so I was raised with them. So I've experienced life with them and seen what it's like for them. So, and I grew up in, a very diverse area. So this wasn't so foreign to me, this experience by being around people who are biracial, fortunately. However, one thing I do notice about her, she's very like observant of people's skin colors. So that's like the first thing she goes to is very interesting. But how we don't say black or white, we say brown, tan, peach, or whatever, just because I don't like the labels. So that's one thing that I've taught her, but she always notices. It's very interesting. Another thing too is that she of course wishes that her mom and dad were together, and we're not. And so I've noticed that like she gravitates a lot towards African-American men, which is it was interesting, but then also trying to teach her boundaries with people has been kind of challenging because she's such a lover. She loves everybody. Oh my gosh. She'll just talk to she and I have that in common. Just talk to anybody. What's up? How's it going? Like your shirt? Like your dress? Whatever. She's just very sweet and very complimentary. But yeah, she notices people's skin color a lot. And I think it's just because she notices a difference with me and her. And so then she notices the differences just with everybody because it's in her own home, that difference, right? And I would say we haven't had really many negative experiences, but it is also it's funny when we will be out and a kid's like, "That's your mom?" What? Like, it's a kid. They don't know, they just assume you look like your parent unless they are also mixed. So that's been kind of funny, just to see kids not believe that I'm her mom.
Yeah. Yes, we have a lot of similar experiences too. The one thing that has caught me off guard is styling her hair. I mean, Raya has 3C curly hair. I don't have curly hair. So for me, it's and then of course all the conversations with skin tone, which is fantastic, especially with the silver linings of 2020. Sadly, it took until this year for a lot of these pivotal conversations to have had, but the cool thing is that people are aware and they're acknowledging it. So whether if it's a 7-year-old child who is extraordinarily impressionable and you as a mom are doing fantastic, all the way up to adults our age and above, it's like, it's okay to acknowledge. Actually, it's best to acknowledge. And then we can kind of shape and mold like how it's best to approach those conversations.
Yes. But yeah, I mean, I've been because I've really educated myself on racial differences and all of that my whole life, and then as a young adult. So I've always been really intentional about having those conversations with Zuri, and just so she knows, right? But it's been, like I said, we've had a very positive experience racially, I'd say. I mean, I feel very fortunate, but it probably helps to have experiences to make her aware, so that way she's not viewing it as a negative.
Yeah. And like you said, you're around a very diverse area, which I think is super helpful.
And she has family members that look like her.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So she doesn't feel alone, like she's the only one amongst we would say peach family. Yeah. So that helps a lot too.
You are a big supporter of moms and creatives and women and business owners, but also, being that you're a mom of a daughter, what is it that you want her to know or to take away from either the business that you're doing or just the good that you put into the world, whether that's through your faith or just being an awesome person? Like, what do you want her to take away?
Well, life is not about you. Is probably the biggest lesson.
I just got goosebumps. Okay, elaborate. Wow.
Because the thing is, you don't always do things you don't. I think this is a great lesson that everybody could learn, not just children. But life is not just about you. You're going to do things you don't feel like, because that's sometimes life. Like, that's how you grow discipline. You feel better when you serve others. I feel like God put us on earth to serve others and not ourselves. We're more fulfilled people when we serve others and not ourselves. And it's a very American phenomenon to serve just yourself. And I am so against that in all ways and all shapes and all forms. So if she can know that, hey, life is so much bigger than me, then I know that I've done a good job. Oh, speaking of which, what's up? I'm on a call, honey. Why? I get back to you in like 15 minutes. Not right now, but I will later, okay? Okay, thank you.
I'm keeping that in because I just want people to know this is how we do mom boss life, right? This is super real. If you were to go back to your 16-year-old self, knowing what you know now, living in the world that you're living in now, being mom to Zuri and all that life is bringing you today, what would you tell your 16-year-old self then?
That's always such a hard question, because I feel like if 16-year-old self would have just been like, yeah, sure, cool, I'm just going to keep it moving, like it wouldn't make a difference, And however, I would probably tell my 16-year-old self to be a better listener. That's a skill that I've really had to just grow immensely. I was very much like, I'm right, you're wrong. Even if I was right, I was really prideful about it, I think. And I've self-assurance is my number one strength. Like with StrengthsFinder, just being sure of myself and self-confident. I'm very good. That's a strength, right? I'll just say in a positive way.
Cheer yourself on, girl. Yes.
But I'd say sometimes especially as I've gotten older, I've gotten much better, but I tended to steamroll people, and I wasn't sensitive, and it could be mean, so I wish I would have learned that sooner, because I think it makes life a lot easier, and to be able to hear, it's like Brene Brown talks about empathy, and I think if I could have learned more empathy younger, if I had entered my marriage with more empathy, I think I would have probably grown my business more quickly. So that's probably have empathy, just listen, be a better listener.
Just listen, because it's not about you.
Exactly, right? Come bring it all back.
I will say that it's not that 2020 made me do this, but I think with age, that's also become prominent for me too, is like learn to listen or listen better, or how can you listen? What does listening look like for this person? Yeah. So that's a good one. I want to talk about wins and challenges you've experienced in your life. So I'm hitting you with all sorts of vague questions, but you can think of this personally or professionally or however. What has been one of like the biggest challenges you've faced that has just like knocked you on your knees and made you feel like, well, this sucks?
Probably, I would say my divorce. I never imagined myself being a divorced person when I first got married, and we're both really strong in our faith too, so I think there's even more shame on top of shame when it comes to divorce. So and I won't say too much, but I would say that I did everything that I could to make it work, and it just didn't. And I remember sitting in therapy saying, I'm not going to have a good life. And then my therapist is like, you will have a good life. And I couldn't believe her. And I just saw myself as a failure. And I'm so used to doing really well at things, right? So not doing well in that was probably my biggest challenge. And not only that, I had my own business. And so having to run my own business while going through all of that, there was a point where I wasn't even living in my house. It was a very, very challenging time. And having to run my own business, run my own household, raise my daughter, and go through a divorce was probably the most challenging period of time in my life.
No big deal. You only dealt with some of your biggest life changes. Only someone that has gone through all of that, let alone one of those, can only understand just a glimmer. So thanks for sharing. Mm-hmm. Outweighing the not so fun moments is the best stuff in your life. So what are you like super proud of? Like, what is one of the biggest accomplishments that you just are just so proud of?
Well, seeing how polite Zuri is really makes me very happy. She's the most polite, kind child with such great empathy. So to see that's my proudest, probably. But I got my CFP earlier this year, and you saw me studying, and I was taking off Mondays and Fridays all summer so that I could spend more time with Zuri and study. And I studied for that for 2 years. So that's certified financial planning certification. So it just allows my business to be enhanced further. But that was a big one. It's a master's level course, and to be able to run my business and raise Zuri while studying for that, that was a big challenge, but also a huge win.
And you did it in the year 2020 with all
things. I did it in 2020.
So congratulations. I'm so proud of you. That's so awesome.
Thank you.
Where do you want to take your business? Where do you want to take your family? What does like the next several years look like, and how can we support you?
Well, I am looking to, so a couple things. I will be debt-free in 7 years, including my mortgage. So that's something that yeah. And that's without any like additional payments or anything. That's just with what I'm on track for now. So that's awesome. I want to grow my business from where it is today. I mean, I could, Anahita, I could keep my business as is and be fine, but I don't want to do that. I want to grow it. So I would like to acquire another practice or two within the next few years. So buy from a retiring advisor that wants to sell their business. So that's one thing, a couple things that I would like to do. And then I would also, as I acquire a practice, then I will hire staff. So, and bring on maybe another advisor, a junior advisor, someone that I can mentor, but has a couple of years in the business. So grow my team, acquire more businesses to be under my business, and then be debt-free in 7 years. And then I'd be debt-free before I'm 40.
Doesn't that sound just like not terrible?
Sounds very freeing. Yeah.
But how amazing. Okay, so anyone that's watching, anyone that's listening, tell your people that know people, because it's all about networking, and you're like the queen of networking. You love it so much. So 2020 isn't really like the best year to network, but we'll get there again.
It's really not, but I mean, I love networking. And oh yeah, how you can support me, I suppose it's just putting, you know, if there's anyone, even if you're not sure, I think people feel really weird about talking about money. And so when you refer a financial planner, you're talking about money inherently. So it's a really awkward referral or introduction. But I just always say, hey, have you ever thought about talking to a financial planner? Whitney's the best. She doesn't charge anything for the first meeting.
It's just a conversation.
Just, hey, can I introduce, or if not for anything, just for networking. I'm always open to doing a networking meeting too. It doesn't have to be about financial planning. And then if it's a fit, cool. If not, that's okay too. It'll work out if it's supposed to.
Yay, that's okay too. Okay, well, that leads us to our last question. How can we get in hold of you? Where can we follow you and connect with you and learn all the things?
So you can follow me on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on Facebook. On Instagram, it's SV, Strategic Visionaries, but it's SV Financial Planning. You can find me, Whitney Emanuel, on Facebook, and you would follow my business page from there as well. LinkedIn, same. My website is strategic-visionaries.com. And we built out my website a lot more at the beginning of this year. So that's a one that everyone should check out. I'm very proud of that.
And it's beautiful. And your mother is on your team, is that correct?
My mother is my assistant, yes. So when you become a client, become part of the family, it's me, my mom, and Zuri. So she's the CEO in training. So you get to be a part of our family when you become a client.
Oh, I love that so much. Well, this has been so much fun. We can talk forever, but I just wanted to at least introduce the highlights of all things strategic visionary and you and your beautiful household. Before we're done with the call though, I have some fun questions because generally I do this HitaTalk trivia. So if you're down, I have 3 questions for you.
Okay, I'm ready, I think.
I know some people get stumped and some people are like, really, that was a trivia question. So.
Oh, okay, well, let's see.
Okay. So we're going to do 3 questions and I have like a funny little like speed round of just random silly things. Okay. So here we go. Kicking it off with Netflix. This Netflix drama series is based on the premise of thieves holding people hostage in an attempt to pull off the biggest heist in recorded history.
I have not a freaking clue. I don't watch TV.
I wasn't sure if you did. Take a wild guess.
I don't know. I have no clue.
It's called, there's a show called Money Heist, which is on my watch list. It's highly recommended. It's completely opposite of what you do. You do not work with people to rob away from people's money. You actually help them save and plan. So
yes, no, anything with pop culture, girlfriend, believe me, I am like such a failure. I am a big failure when it comes to pop culture.
You're not, because you spend your energy and your time elsewhere. But I had to kind of like kick it off on a money standpoint. Come on now.
Okay.
Okay. This one, a little bit more up our alley. What do the following women think very high level? What do the following women have in common? Maya Angelou, Katharine Graham, Rosario Perez, Shireen Nishat, Amelia Earhart, Madame C.J. Walker.
They were the firsts of something. I don't know though.
Very close. They're iconic visionaries.
Oh yeah, that's very similar. Yeah. Okay. Not bad. Not bad.
Visionaries, get
Yeah.
it?
Okay. I like it.
I know I am so punny. It's just terrible.
I'm
Okay,
into it.
the third question. This is a two-person board game that uses strategy to find the opponent's flag. What is this board game called?
Capture the flag. Oh, it's a board game.
Board game.
And you have to catch the opponent's flag, and it's two-person.
It's a game based on strategy.
It's a board game.
3, 2, 1.
It's not Battleship, but that's my only guess.
No, it's not. It's similar how you kind of like play it. It's interesting. It's called Stratego. Stratego is an old school game. I guess like the old school variation was a French-based game, and then they like redid it. I started playing this game, I think I was in high school with a girlfriend. Don't even know why we had this game because it was not something I would pick out, but it's strategic. Get it? Strategic. You got the visionary, you got the money.
Yes. No, I like it. I hear what you're saying. Don't bring me to trivia. That's all I'm saying.
To just throw it out there because someone that watches this might be like, I know this one. They'll be like, ooh, but Whitney, it's this.
I'm sure if I could have a call, the call button, then yeah, I would call people who would know.
Okay, I know you're gonna get these 4 because there's literally no wrong answer. But you have to answer like right away. It's called speed round.
Okay, sounds good.
So if you had to eat just one food every day for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Mac and cheese.
Lipstick or mascara?
Ooh, lipstick.
And you wear that red so well. Beach vacation or Vegas?
Beach.
Yes?
No brainer.
Who am I asking? Hello, we're not going to go gamble our money. Rude. Why would I ask that? Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Okay. That is all I have for you today, my dear. Thank you so much for spending time with us. Everybody, make sure you subscribe to HitaTalk on YouTube. Make sure you follow Whitney on all the social media she shouted out, which I will also add in the caption. And until next time, we'll see you guys later. Thanks, Whitney.
Thank you.
Bye.